In this video, I'm going to go over how to set up a connection with an Etsy store and create a few mappings and fulfill a couple of orders. So when you first sign up for the Fulfilled by Qprints service, you'll have to connect to your Etsy store if you want to fulfill Etsy orders. So far all I've done is create my profile and I've got my basic information. This profile information is what will be the return address for any orders that we fulfill. And once I've filled that out, I'm going to go to My Stores, and you can see I don't have a store yet. I need to connect with Etsy. When I click on this button, it's going to take me to Etsy, where I can allow access to our app. So I'm going to click on Allow Access. It's going to give me a code. I'm going to copy and paste that into the Fulfilled by Qprints website, and I'm going to click Submit. And this is going to set up the connection with the Etsy shop. As soon as you do that, you'll see this little flyout with some settings, and here you need to map the shipping that you have set up to the shipping that we offer. This can be confusing. We're not 100% sure what you will see on this end. It should be the different types of shipping you've allowed within Etsy, and then you map that to ours. For the most part, the hard part about this is going to be the Express ones. I believe they call Express a bunch of different things, and we need to be able to know which one's which. So here I have 1 day and Express. I'm going to map those to Dropship Express. And then for standard shipping, we actually call that drop shipping. Our idea of standard shipping here is we would ship it back to you, not to your customer. Drop shipping is when we ship something that you send us that goes directly to your customer. So all of these should be set to drop ship. It's just a matter of whether or not it's Express or whether it's just regular drop ship. We do also offer some international shipping. This is experimental at the moment, and this is definitely assuming that it's a small order that's under £1. And these are just this is what our pricing is going to be set out initially. It may change in the future. Down here at the bottom, we have an option to hide orders without a mapping from the orders page. But if you have orders that you cannot fulfill and you've mapped all of the ones that you can, if you check this, you won't see the ones that we can't fulfill in your new orders list. So I'm going to go ahead and click Submit. And now when I go to Store Listings, so now it's imported the different listings that I have on Etsy. And if I click on one of these, you'll see the different variations for the product. So on Etsy, you can have one product, but then you can have different variations. So the variations that this particular product has are size, which is either 8 by 10, 11 by 14, or 16 by 20. And then there's a second variation called tone for black and white or color. So this particular product on Etsy I'm offering as your choice of the size of 8 by 10, 11 by 14, or 16 by 20, and then the tone can be either color or black and white on any of those. So for this particular product, there's 6 different mappings. There's 3 different sizes, and then there's 2 different tones. And in order for us to fulfill this, you would have to fill out all of this. I'm not going to go over that part of it just yet. We're going to go back to the listings here and see what else we show here. There are some things that we can't fulfill for sure, which would be a digital download. If you're offering digital downloads, we will show them in the list, but you can't click on this because there's nothing we can do with it. You can also go to the Orders tab, and it will bring in any orders that you have that have not been marked as complete on Etsy. And these would be all of your open orders, regardless of whether or not you have a mapping form. Since I didn't check the checkbox on the store over here, because I don't have anything mapped yet, it's showing you everything. So if you scroll down here, eventually some more will load. They sort of get lazy loaded as you scroll down the list, depending on how many you have. And there's some other information here. Your special notes, the special notes that a customer would have left for you will show up over here. And this one also here, they requested gift wrap. That is not a service that we offer. So this particular item cannot be fulfilled through our system because it needs gift wrap. Okay, so I currently don't have any mappings. I'm not going to be able to fulfill any of these with just the click of a button. If we go over here to the mappings, you can see there are none. So if you're just getting started out and you want to fulfill a couple of orders, the easiest thing to do is just to click on Customize and Fulfill on one order that you want to fulfill. And when you do this, it'll pop out this little flyout here, and you can search for an existing mapping, or if you click in there, you can create a new mapping. So it's automatically going to create a mapping name that's going to be the product and then the variation combination. So this one just has a variation for size, which is 8 by 10. I'm going to go ahead and choose this is going to be a luster 8 by 10. So I'm setting what the catalog and the print size is. Quantity is going to be 1. And now I'm going to go out and find this image. And here I have a folder called 8 by 10, and I have some stuff in here. Here's the Lego print image. It's just one image. I'm going to go ahead and upload that. And here is a checkbox for save mapping for future orders. I'm going to check that, and now that's going to create a mapping between this product and variation on Etsy and this image along with the print size and catalog. So if future orders come in for this product and variation, I'll be able to fulfill them automatically because the mapping will already exist. And if I go over here to the mappings page, you can see it created this mapping. And down below you can see some details about what the mapping is. It's one file. Qprints is the catalog it came from. It's an 8 by 10 size. You're going to have one of each of that. I did not fill out a SKU, so the SKU is blank, and it was created a few seconds ago. Down below here it says it's linked to that particular Etsy product, Lego Prints size 8 by 10. If I go back to the orders tab and I look for any other orders for that same product, and here's one right here, it has a green check mark on it. The other ones all have a blue edit button. That means that it doesn't exist yet. The green check mark means that there is a mapping for this, and now you can see the button has changed to fulfill. And then it has a second half of the button ... Fulfill is if you want to go ahead and fulfill the order automatically, and this ... will bring you back the customization here. And if I wanted to change it, I could create a new mapping here and I could customize it. This would allow you to just send a different image or size for this product variation just this one time. It would not save it. It would just do it as a one-time thing if you needed to customize it for some reason, maybe because of some special notes that they left you or something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and fulfill this since it already has the mapping, and that's all you have to do to send it in for fulfillment. If I go back up here and I look at the different tabs here, we have an order place tab. Things will only show up here for a few seconds at the most while they are being processed, and then they'll end up in the uploaded tab. So this is the order I just now did a second ago, and this is the one I did a couple of minutes ago that created the mapping that allowed me to do this second one. Eventually they will also change to in process. We haven't changed that yet. That'll be to mean that the lab is actually in the process of working on it. Uploaded as sort of a staging, and then once it's shipped, it will end up on the shipped tab. So I'm going to go back to the new orders tab here, and we'll go ahead and do another one here. We're going to create a new mapping, Lego Prints 11 by 14, Qprints, choose the size, go ahead and find an image. And I'm going to save the mapping for future orders and submit the order. And now if I go to the mappings tab, you'll see that I have two mappings now. And that both of these are linked to an actual Etsy product. If I go to the store listings and I find this particular product, you can see that now the product variations have been mapped. If I wanted to edit this, I can edit it from here, or I can edit it from over here. Clicking on the mapping will bring it up over here on the right hand side. If you wanted to change the size, you could. If you wanted to change the name or add a SKU, you can also delete the image or add in a new one. I'm going to go ahead and click on close because I didn't change anything. So far we've fulfilled a couple of different orders here, and we created mappings to go with them. These are basically what we consider a static mapping. This particular product, Lego Prints 11 by 14, is one image. It's always going to be printed as an 11 by 14. It's going to be easy to fulfill anytime it's ordered. You're just going to click on the fulfill button. So we have another type of product that we support, which would be a multiple choice product. So on this particular product here, choice of any 4 tree images. If I click on this number here, this is to view the order on Etsy. If I click that, it'll take me to Etsy. And from Etsy, I'm going to go ahead and click on what the product is. And you can see that I've just made a product and it says pick any 4 trees. There's 2, 4, 6, 8 different images. When the customer orders it, they're just going to put in the special instructions which ones they actually want. They're not going to get all 8. They're just going to get the 4 that they specify. So this type of product is a little bit more complicated. I'm going to create this mapping from the mappings page, because if I go over here and create a new mapping, there is an option that doesn't exist here. It's under the mappings page. So from here, I'm going to create a new mapping, and I'm going to call it choice of 4 tree images. I'm going to skip the SKU. It's going to be luster prints. We're going to say they're 8x10s. And this is what it is, a multiple choice item. If I hover over this, check this box for listings that allow the buyer to choose a subset of items from a larger set. I'm going to upload 8 images, but the buyer's only going to get 4, and they're going to tell you which 4 they want. So I'm going to click to select, and somewhere in here I have some pictures of trees. And I'm going to upload 8 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and so now that it's uploaded, that took a couple of minutes. I'm going to click Save. And now we can see we have this new mapping, choice of 4 tree images, 8 files, luster prints, 8x10, 1 each. There is no SKU. It's a multiple choice item, and it was created a few seconds ago. Currently not linked to anything. I'm going to go back to the store listings and find it in here, choice of 4 trees. And here I need to find the variation. So this particular product, again, has multiple different variations. There's a variation for finish, which is either glossy or luster, and then there's a variation for size, 8x10 or 11x14 or 16x20. So again, this one has 6 different variations. The mapping that I just made was for luster finish, 8x10. I'm going to type in here and I am going to search for it. And there it is, choice of 4 trees. And I'm going to click Save. And now you can see here it's expanded it out to show the different images that are in it. I am going to edit the mapping, and that's going to take me back to the mappings page. And in the name, I'm going to change it to say that is 8x10 luster, just to make it a little bit more clear, since there were the other variations for it. And now you can see I've mapped this one variation out of 6 for this particular product. If I go back to the orders tab, I now have a green check mark next to this order and this one, both of which are orders for this particular product and variation. So now when I click to fulfill this one, remember last time it just said fulfill. Now it says customize and fulfill. I can't just fulfill it because it's got all 8 images mapped. I need to figure out which ones they want and choose those. So in the notes here, they would probably be telling you what they want, 2 cedars and 2 pine trees. We're going to say that's a cedar, that's a pine tree, that's a pine tree, and maybe that's a cedar there. So we're going to choose 4 files. I have those 4 files selected, and when I submit that order, that's all that's going to go in with the order is those 4 files. So again, we have the order place tab, and that order is in here right now. It's only going to be in the order place tab for a few seconds while the system processes it, and then it's going to end up in the uploaded tab. So back to the new orders tab, and here's another one. This is the same thing. 8x10 luster finish, choice of 4 trees. I'd like the 3 on the top row and the 1 on the middle right. Click customize and fulfill. We're going to say it's just these top 4. And so when you're going to go and create a whole bunch of mappings, we also have a bulk mapping ability. I've made a video of this already. you can create a lot of mappings in bulk pretty quick. It's not associating them with a product. So if you did that, you would still need to go over here to the store listings or off of the orders and map them. So we'll go ahead and map some images here using the bulk mapping ability. We've imported in some files. I'm going to use the parse SKU from file name because the first several have SKUs. I'm going to add the catalog name and the product name to the mapping name, and I'm going to hide used images as I go. We need to set the catalog. These are all going to be 8x10s. These settings up here, the catalog and product and quantity, are all going to stay at what I set them at originally. And we're going to go ahead and choose the first file. Since I have auto select files selected, which is only available if you're parsing the SKU, it selects all the other ones that have the same SKU. I'm going to click the permission checkbox there, and I'm going to click create mapping. It's going to create a mapping down there. I can do the next one and the next one, and we can do this one too. Once I get to this one, the SKU separator is different. It's a dash now. And now let's see, we got one more back here that's space. So I've mapped all of those now. You can see it's already created a couple of them here. This one's currently uploading. These are in the queue next once that's done. And once they're mapped, then I'm going to have to associate them with a variation in order for them to be available to fulfill an order from Etsy. So now my mappings have all uploaded. If I go back to the mappings page, I should have a bunch more. Yep. And you'll see that the ones that I just did, they're not linked to anything right now. They're just mappings. These ones and up are all mapped to a product. That one's not. So now I need to link them to an actual Etsy product variation. I can do that from the orders page. So for this deer picture here, customize and fulfill, I can search for it. We'll just type in deer. There it is. Save for future orders. That was for an 8x10. Submit order. What else did we do? Let's see. So these ones now have the green check mark. I can fulfill those at the click of a button. And we did telescopes, but this one is for glossy 11x14. We can't do that. We have other mappings there that didn't exist on new orders. We've got the feet and the telescopes, black and white on the feet, and they're all 8x10. If we go to the store listings page, we'll find the 4 pictures of a telescope. This has different variations. The one that we mapped was the luster 8x10. If we just type in telescopes, we should find it. There it is. Click save. And then from here, we can actually create a mapping directly from here if we want to. So we're going to say create a new mapping. 4 pics of telescopes. 2 options. That was part of my product name. Luster 11x14. So I need to choose catalog is going to be luster. Size is going to be 11x14. 1 of each. It's not a multiple choice. Select the images. And I have a folder for 11x14 here. And what was this? Telescopes, I believe. Yep. So now we're directly mapping this from the Etsy product variation. And click save. Sometimes the thumbnails don't show up right away. If I come back to it, they should be there. So if you have a lot of different product variations, it's probably easiest to go down the list and just do them from the store listings page. If you make the mappings first and then try to come back to them, it can be a little bit confusing as to what you have mapped and what you don't. The search does work fairly well. If you use a SKU and you know what the SKUs are as you do this, then the bulk mapping might be a better way to do that. So there's one more thing on the mapping. There is an option here to ignore this product. That would be that if, say, the product over here is something you're not going to fulfill, like this test number 5. If I click the edit button, it'll take me to the store listing. And if I don't want that to show up in the list of new products, I can just do that from there. It's similar to under the store settings where it says don't show mapped ones, where it says don't show unmapped variations. Now that product is no longer here because I told it not to show up. So if I go back to store listings, so if I go back to my store and click on the options, now it will make more sense if I hide orders without a mapping from the orders page, submit. Probably isn't going to be much on there because I think I already fulfilled most of the orders. These are two within one particular order, and I have one mapped and one not. The rest of the new orders are gone, and now there's a note saying showing orders with mappings only. If you want to change that, it takes you back there and click submit. If I go back to the orders tab, there should now be more orders here.